Hello, my friends, and welcome to the stream. I hope you can hear me okay. I hope you can hear the music okay. It's a little wacky. We're listening to Mario Party 2 today. I like the Mario Party music. I think it's good background music for talking over in general because most of it's unobtrusive, and because the boards have a lot of variety, you get a lot of variety in the music, at least in theory. So I got my treasure hunter up because I'm going through treasures again today. I'm continuing the monumental task of inventorying my game collection in my tablet. It's very slow. I set things out very carefully, and I got to type in the titles. I have to Google the titles sometimes because I'm like, oh no, is Star Fox one word or two? And it's important to have that right. And my new inventory has photos, which is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to look through once I've gotten a sizable chunk of items into a collection. So I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun admiring it and making use of it for when I'm picking out stuff for the stream. It'd be a lot better than having to get up and walk around my room and dig through boxes to remember what I've got available to me. I'm sorry I missed you last night, by the way. I'm a little under the weather. I don't know what happened. I just started feeling really sick yesterday, and I'm a little better today. Been laying in bed a lot, drinking lots of fluids, that kind of stuff. And who knows? I should be laying down now, but I mean, there's only so many hours you can stay in bed. I gotta get up and do something, so that's what we're gonna do. So let me know if there's anything wrong with the audio. If you can't hear me, if the music's too loud, if you hear me too much, if I'm breathing into the microphone too much, just let me know and I'll do my best to fix it. But now I'm going to go ahead and get my camera switched over to the table view, and we'll get started. Sorry, I'm fumbling around so much. I've already managed to mess something up. I'm not really sure. My camera is, my camera is not behaving properly. Okay, that looks a lot better. I know it looks the same, but it had been on a frozen image. And now it's actually updated. So I'm sorry, I'm causing trouble because I'm trying to turn my laptop and I pulled on my cords and things went bad. Okay, dare I say it? I think we're ready to do it now. Okay, first up we got Gex 3. Deep Cover Gecko. Never actually played any of the Gex games. Hello, Zinshan. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Welcome to a couple hours of game collection inventory. Ooh, Gex. Yeah, I was just saying, I've never actually played any of the Gex games. That's Gex 3. That might be the only one I have. I'm not sure offhand. Do you like them? Are they any good? I assume that O is a good O. Next up is Turok Dinosaur Hunter. Talked about that a little last time. When I think of this game, all I think about is being lost in the fog. I'll be off and on, so if I don't respond, that's why. Gex is a good time. No worries. Thanks for dropping by, and hey, I appreciate the lurk. Resident Evil 2. I remember being absolutely amazed that they were able to get all of the cinematics and voice acting and everything into a Nintendo 64 cartridge. And man, I really loved this game. I played it a ton. It's got 2 campaigns, and I'm pretty sure that I went through each of them twice, at least. You're really scared to play that game. It is a spooky, scary game. I kind of like these old horror games with the tank controls and everything. I kind of like it because it makes you extremely vulnerable, and so you really feel like you're in danger a lot of the times. Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion. I remember being really excited for this game. I don't think I've ever actually played it, though. I was really excited for it because I really enjoyed the first Turok game, even though I was never very good at it and never got very far. I feel like I played it a lot. Turok 2, I remember being just blown away by. Again, I was never good at it. I always got lost, so I never made a lot of progress for it. But because I had so many positive feelings about those two, I remember being very excited for this one. But I don't think I've ever actually played it. This doesn't always hold true, but as a general rule of thumb, you can tell which games are from my actual childhood and which ones I've collected later on as an adult. If I have like a box or a manual for a game, it usually means it's one of the games I had as a kid. The overwhelming majority of games that I've bought as an adult are ones that I've got, loose without manuals and just a cartridge alone. Are you categorizing your games? So what I'm trying to do is create a digital inventory of them. I got this this app. It's a collection manager. It's very creatively titled, and I think I think the person who designed it actually intended it to inventory their wine cellar, because it's got a bunch of wine bottles as the app icon. But it allows me to put in the title, the picture, and then I can add metadata to the game, like number of copies I have, whether or not I have a manual or a box. And so it's just nice. It's a way, because I can't keep most of my stuff out on display. Like, I don't have like bookshelves full of games. Most of my games are slid into these sort of like IKEA cubbies, and so it's really convenient to have them listed in an app, so I can look through what I have without having to physically drag out the box and look through it. So if I want to choose something that I want to stream, it's nice to have them in one place. Or if I'm out at a flea market or a used game store or something like that, and I don't want to duplicate something I already have, it's nice to be able to look it up. And I had an inventory I put together a while ago on my I had a different tablet before this one, and I had a different app. It was a lot more basic. It was just for creating lists, and I had all my games listed out in it. But since I got a new tablet, the app that I had before isn't compatible with the new tablet, so I had to get a different app, and this one allows for pictures, so it's a long process. I'm going to be doing this for a couple hours, every couple days for a very, very long time, especially if I'm going real slow like this. So I thought it'd be a good idea to turn on the stream and let people hang out with me while I do it. So I'm not just some madman alone in his basement. Oh, and I'll check the app out. So far, I'm liking it. I've only used it. I've only been using it for a couple days, so I'm not sure if it's a great app yet or not. But so far, I'm liking it. Next up, Aiden Chronicles: The First Mage. One of I don't know, maybe 3 RPGs on Nintendo 64, maybe only 2. I can think of, well, there's this. There's a Quest 64. There's Ogre Battle, Mario RPG, That's about all I can think of offhand. There may be more, but there certainly aren't many more. This is one I actually have 2 copies of. And you can see my primary copies are ones I've got labels on the end of. My backup copies I didn't stick labels on because I don't go looking for them as often. And I try to keep the nicer copy as the backup copy in general. Oh no, I didn't actually take the picture. So I have another Gex game. I wasn't even aware. I've got Gex 64, Enter the Gecko. I think the Gex games were on the PlayStation before they came to the Nintendo 64. So I've got 1, I assume this is 1, and 3. Never played that one. Is it any good? Aiden Chronicles? I haven't played it either, I'm afraid. I couldn't tell you. I'm not even familiar with its reputation. I kind of remember vaguely reading about it in Nintendo Power back in the day, and them being excited about it just because it was an RPG on the Nintendo 64, and there were so very few. But yeah, unfortunately, the vast, overwhelming majority of my games are ones I've never played. I got into retro game collecting. I guess I first started to get into it when I was in middle school. I mean, most of these games weren't really that retro then. The Nintendo 64 was out when I was it came out when I was in middle school, or right when I started middle school, somewhere around there. But around that time, I started collecting NES and Super Nintendo games alongside the Nintendo 64 stuff. And then I really got into it in high school and college. But in college, I was a very responsible student. I didn't have any video games in my dorm. I was a very boring student, I guess. I didn't really play any games for almost 4 years when I was in college, but I kept collecting them, so I built up this big hoard during that time. But then after I graduated, I moved overseas, and then I moved around so much, and so while I've always been collecting games, I've very, very rarely had the time to actually sit down and explore a lot of my collection. Which makes streaming absolutely wonderful, because it finally gives me the time and focus to sit down and enjoy some of these things. I know the feeling. I was hoarding games for so long and just not playing them. Streaming is really good for that. It has been phenomenal for that. I keep stopping and looking in my box on the floor because I've got a couple manuals up here on the table. And I was trying to do the things I have manuals for first, but I'm seeing these manuals and not seeing the games that go with them, so. Guess I need to get more and more of the single games out of the way. Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. I haven't played this game, but there's another Goemon game on the Nintendo 64, Goemon's Great Adventure, and that one I've played a bit of, and I feel like I really enjoyed what I played of it, but it's another one that I haven't finished, so I might want to go back. I might want to come back to this one sometime in the near-ish future, or well, not this one, but the other one. I'm scratching my head a little bit because I'm wondering, I have a Japanese manual for that game, the Mystical Ninja, but I haven't come across a Japanese copy of the game, so I don't know if I have just the Japanese manual or if I have the game in Japanese as well. Or maybe I did have it. Maybe I traded it away since I have 2 English copies. I'm not sure. Goemon is really fun. One of my favorites. They're hard games to find nowadays. Yeah, I looked for Goemon's Great Adventure. I had to look for that game for a long time before I was finally able to pick up a copy. It's a game I actually traded for. I traded a spare copy of Ocarina of Time to get a hold of it. Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Really fun game. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. You know, I'm really familiar with the original trilogy. I've seen the prequels, and so far as the newer films, the only one I've watched is the middle one, Part 8. I can't remember what it's called. The Last Jedi. So I'm not the hugest Star Wars fan, but I really like some Rogue Squadron. It's a fun game. That's a great deal. I thought I got an excellent deal out of it. The thing about that, and the thing about that was the copy of Ocarina of Time that I traded. Um, I actually got that same day. It was a weird sort of coincidence of a situation. I went through a thrift shop, and they had like this was a very very long time ago. I went to a thrift shop and they had 4 or 5 Nintendo 64 games that they were asking for like $2 each for them, and it was like they were the good titles too. It was Ocarina of Time, Star Fox 64, I think Mario 64. I don't remember what the other two were, but they're all like the good mainline Nintendo titles. And they wanted $2 for each of them. I bought them, I scooped them up, and then later on that same day in the afternoon, I stopped by a game store, and they were actually going out of business. Um, and I was looking around, and they had a copy of that, and I don't remember how the conversation went, but basically the guy offered. He's like, "Hey, I'll make a trade with you 1 for 1 for the. I'll give you Goemon's Great Adventure for that Ocarina of Time." I guess I don't know. Maybe he wanted it for himself. I don't know what was going on, but so I immediately traded that one away, and I'd only picked it up for $2 earlier in the day. It was phenomenal luck. You got the better deal. I think so. I think so. I wasn't gonna argue with the guy though. Star Wars: Shadows of the Empire, another Star Wars game. This one's not. This game is not very good. I don't think it's a very good game. I got it when it was new though, and I loved it back then. It's just it's hard to revisit. My stack of Nintendo 64 games is getting dangerously tall and wobbly at the end of my table over there. got my copy for $50. I traded my original copy long ago and wanted it again. I've only done that with a very small number of games. I remember I traded Ultraman Toward the Future on Super Nintendo for a copy of Killer Instinct. And then I traded that same copy of Killer Instinct for a copy of The Lord of the Rings on Super Nintendo. So I went from a terrible game to a pretty good game, and, you know, especially if you like fighting games, to an absolute trash game in that trade sequence. I had a stack of games fall once, and I ended up denting a collector's edition of a 3DS game. Horror of horrors. Chameleon Twist. This game here, I haven't played this game yet. I remember seeing a preview or something for it in Nintendo Power, and really wanting to play it. Like, I thought it looked like a cute and fun concept. And I remember really wanting to play it, but I never got a chance to like rent it or anything like that. Now that I have it, I still haven't made the time to play it, but so I don't know. It might actually be terrible, and I'll be let down after all these years, but who knows? BRB, no worries. I plan to be around for a couple hours, or for as long as my stamina holds out. Mario Kart 64. I don't have the manual for Mario Kart, but I've got one of these cardboard things again. Nintendo really liked these cardboard things around this time. I don't think this ever ripped. It doesn't look like it's been ripped, but but for some reason I reinforced it with tape, it looks like. For those who may be curious, I'm not counting this as a manual when I inventory. I'm including it in the picture because why not? But there's nothing, I don't know, there's no way to really enter it into the inventory. Hello, Four Sides. Hey, welcome to the stream. Welcome to my very slowly inventorying my game collection. I see Goemon. Do you have Mystical Ninja? I have Mystical Ninja on the Nintendo 64. So I think there's Mystical Ninja on the Super Nintendo as well, right? I have two Nintendo 64 Goemon games. I've got Mystical Ninja and Goemon's Great Adventure. I've never played Mystical Ninja, and I've only played a little bit of Great Adventure, but I remember really liking it, and so I hope to actually make it through the whole game one day. I played the ones for N64 and a little bit of the NES one. So they're not games I owned as a kid, and I was scratching my head because this is actually the Japanese manual, and I don't know why I have a Japanese manual, because I don't think I have a Japanese copy of this game. Maybe I did at one time, but I don't appear to have one anymore, but I still have the manual. But so I never played them when I was a kid, but my cousin had Goemon's Great Adventure, and I don't think he liked it very much. But he lent it to me one time, and I played it when I was young, but I don't think I made it very far into the game, even though I really liked it. Love the Mario Party music, by the way. Right on. I think it makes for good background music for just hanging out and not doing a whole lot. Mystical Ninja starring Goemon for N64 is one of my favorite games as a kid. Such an amazing soundtrack too. Very underrated games. The side scroller isn't as good as the 3D adventure. All right, so the side scroller is the only one that I've played. So I might be really missing out then. So I'll need to get around to them. Right before you hopped in, Zinshan was also hanging out with me for a while, and he was excited about the Goemon games too. So I'm seeing a lot of Goemon love today. Castlevania. These are all coming out in no particular order, by the way. If you're expecting any semblance, it's just all madness. There's no semblance of organization here at all. Castlevania 64 is a game that I really love. I feel like everyone on the planet hates it, but I think it's a great game. I really enjoy it. And I like this one better than Legacy of Darkness, which is the same game on Nintendo 64. It's like a deluxe version of it or whatever. And everyone says that one makes this one pointless, but I disagree. I like this one better than the update. Maybe I'm just a weird contrarian. I like the second one better. The first one suffers from lag when you're in the overworld. Would highly recommend, but it's also fun. I didn't play as much of the second one, but I love the adventure and the world of the first. And it's one of my favorite soundtracks, hands down. That's some high praise. But we're still talking about the Goemon games. Mario Tennis. Never really played Mario Tennis on the Nintendo 64. I played it a lot on the Virtual Boy, though. If you like tennis games and you don't like your eyes, the Virtual Boy Mario Tennis is a pretty good time. I still play that with my friends to this day. Simple yet super competitive. Quest 64. I haven't really played this one. Mostly have heard really bad things about it. Ready to Rumble Boxing, Round 2. Mario Tennis is really fun. I expect it'd be a good time. Like I said, I think the only one I've ever really played was the Virtual Boy one, but I did put a lot of time into that one. We have Lego Racers. I mostly played the Game Boy Color one, and I love it. As a kid, I loved Lego Racer so much. The customization was amazing. Replaying as an adult made me realize it aged very poorly. I haven't really played Lego Racers myself. Quake 2. But I've definitely had that experience with Nintendo 64 games. I don't think that I'm generally pretty positive about the way most Nintendo 64 games hold up. I don't complain about the library aging as poorly as a lot of people, as I hear a lot of other people doing. But I've definitely had that experience with a few games. I was just saying earlier, Shadows of the Empire. That was a game I really loved when it came out, but it's really hard to revisit. Tonic Trouble? Tonic Trouble is another classic for me, kind of like Walmart brand Rayman. I've never played Tonic Trouble. Not too sure if it holds up. It's another one. Again, I've never played. So many of these games that so many of these games that I've got are ones that I've just hoarded without ever experiencing yet. So I have a very, very long to-do list. Actually, that's what we could say this whole inventory process is. This isn't so much me inventorying my collection as it is me writing a to-do list. Star Wars Battle for Naboo. Never played this one. Picked it up because I really liked Rogue Squadron and expected this to be like that, but haven't ever really given it a go. I haven't heard as many good things about this game, though. This copy's all kind of weird and discolored around the edges. I don't know if it was in a smoker's house or if it sat underwater for a long time, or I don't know what happened to it. N64 and GameCube were my two childhood systems. I really think the NES through the Nintendo 64. I think of those as my childhood systems. I had a Commodore 64 and an Atari 2600 before that, but I was really young, and so my memories of those two consoles are sketchy at best. I definitely I had a GameCube, and I got the GameCube. I got it on launch date, and I definitely had fun with a lot of the games. But about a year or two, maybe two years into the GameCube's lifespan, is when I went off to college, and so. And I was saying before, I didn't really play any games during that period. So it's only the very earliest titles for GameCube that I've made it through. Tetrasphere. I like this game a lot. It's kind of repetitive. I don't even know if it has an ending to it. If it does, I've never made it all the way through it, but I don't know. I really liked this game. Mine were N64, Sega, and PS1. You had a lot more. You had a lot more versatile gaming childhood than I had. I've missed out on a lot of Sega games and a lot of PlayStation games. I'm just now starting to make up for some of that. I just got lucky. South Park. I remember renting this game, which is absolutely crazy to me because I don't know why my parents let me rent this game, because there's absolutely no way in the world they would have let me watch South Park. I mean, we didn't really have cable, so I didn't exactly have a lot of opportunity to watch it, but they would have been absolutely horrified if I had watched South Park. It's kind of the same thing, though, now that I'm thinking about it. My parents didn't let me watch The Simpsons when I was a kid either. But they bought me a Bart Simpson toy, and I had Bartman meets Radioactive Man on the regular Nintendo. So they bought me a toy and a video game for The Simpsons, but they absolutely forbid me to watch it. My brother had a used Sega, my dad had the PS1, and I got the N64 for Christmas. Nice. Very little games for each, though. I mean, that was all of this, like, game collection that I've amassed. I didn't have a whole lot of, I didn't have a whole ton of, like, huge game collection when I was a kid. Most of this was built up when I was in high school and college. When I had disposable income without responsibilities. And luckily, and really lucky for me, I got interested in this stuff when no one else was interested in it. You can play, but you cannot touch. Lode Runner 3D. When I was in middle school, one of my friends, he had his own computer in his bedroom, and that was mind blowing for a family at that time and where I grew up, for a family to be wealthy enough that the child of the household could have his own computer in his bedroom was absolutely mind blowing. But he had a Lode Runner game on it, and I remember playing that with him. And for the life of me, I have never been able to find that exact version of Lode Runner ever again. I remember we played it, and I really loved it. But every version of Lode Runner that I've come across, they're not the same version, so something's off about them. Or maybe my memory's faulty, or my nostalgia has warped me, but I've never been able to find a copy of Load Runner that I enjoyed as much as that version that I played with my friend. F-Zero X. It's another one I don't have a manual for, but I got the cardboard insert. Rip F-Zero. I know, it's one of those. There hasn't been an F-Zero game for so long, and I don't understand why not. So I think I have F-Zero. I have it on the SNES. I have this one. I think I have one on the GameCube. I haven't really played. The one I've played the most is the one on the Super Nintendo. And even that one I haven't played a whole lot. It's a series that I really want to make the time to sit down and play them, but I'm also intimidated too, because I remember the Super Nintendo one being very difficult when I was a kid. Here we are. Xena, Warrior Princess, the Talisman of Fate. What can I say about this game? Well, I played it. That's my whole review. So the way when I put a new entry in the app, it has me enter the title and then the metadata and then the image. And because the image is last, I don't know. I keep setting things aside without taking a picture of them. Xena, what a silly show. I never really watched it. It I don't know. I don't know. I think I might have been too young for it when it was out, or I don't know. Maybe it was another one of those things that was on cable or something. I don't know. I kind of think from what I've seen of it today, if I watched it today, I might love it, but I don't know. It's cheesy. That's kind of my expectation from the clips and whatnot that I've seen of it over the years. Shadow Man. This copy of this game is someone has drawn all over it with a marker. I don't know what they wrote on it. Nintendo 64 Game Shark. There's still a lot more games coming. Just because I'm taking a picture of an accessory now doesn't mean I'm out of games. We're only about halfway there. I've never even used this Game Shark. I picked it up. I probably picked it up because it was cheap somewhere. But I think what I thought when I picked it up was I was thinking that maybe I would be able to plug in games from other regions to play them on my Nintendo 64. I don't know if it works for that purpose. I've never used it, like I said, so I've never tried it. It might, but I've never needed to do that because I got the Super 64, which at least lets me play Japanese games on my American Nintendo 64. I don't know if it will play. I don't know if it'll let me play PAL region games or not. I don't think I own any PAL games. How many N64 games do you have? Zinjon, I don't even know. I won't know until I complete this inventory. It's around 100. I know at one point it was over 100. And that's not counting duplicates. Unless they're a different region. Like I would count the Japanese Mario 64 separate from the North American Mario 64. But like I got 2 copies of Star Fox. They're both North American. I don't count them as separate games. But it's somewhere around 100. I've got around 100 NES games. I've got around 80 Super Nintendo games. I thought I had around 50 Sega Genesis games. I think that's an overestimate, though. It's probably closer to 40 or maybe even 30. I've got around 50 Atari 2600 games. And then when it comes to discs, I just I have no idea at all. I can't even estimate. Oh, and then there's Game Boy games too. I've probably got about 50 Game Boy games. Maybe closer to 70 or 80 if we count Game Boy Color and Advance games. So I'm gonna be at this project for a very, very long time. Holy smokes, living the dream. I mean, this is this is what I was into. And for the longest time, like when I was in high school and when I was in college, like this is basically the only thing that I spent my disposable income on was retro game collecting. Like I didn't go out, I didn't go out to eat. I didn't go out drinking. I didn't go out to see movies. Like if I had extra money, I didn't spend it on those kind of things. I would just spend it on games. And it was at a time, like I said, the reason I have such a big game collection with retro games is that I collected at a time when people didn't care about these things. And like you could go to a yard sale and people would have a whole box of them sometimes, and just like $2-3 a piece. But I'm very, very fortunate to have the game collection that I have. I am well aware of that. And I've gone through an extraordinary amount of trouble to keep it too, though. Because as I talk about on stream all the time, I've moved so many times in the past couple years. I think I've had eight different addresses in the past decade, and moving a collection like this around from place to place to place is very, very difficult. I wish we were at that point again. I mean, I don't. I really miss. I do really miss being able to go out and like hunt for video games, and to be able to find deals. It like as it used to be. It used to be you would find like a treasure trove of like a couple really good deals, like maybe once or twice a month if you went out often enough. And you'd find decent deals all the time, but now it's exceedingly difficult to get lucky enough to find good retro games for really cheap prices. So I'm with you there. I really do miss it. back to games. We got Glover. Never really played Glover. I'm a little bit familiar with the style of it and such. I don't think it has a great reputation, but when I finally get around to playing it, I kind of expect I'm gonna love it. Beetle Adventure Racing, one of the few racing games that I've played and really enjoyed. Never owned a Beetle, but I've always liked them. Maybe because I watched Herbie the Love Bug when I was a kid. I don't know. I've always liked compact cars. Never really owned a compact car. I have a Toyota Corolla currently though, which feels like a compact car when you're inside it and you're as big as I am. Pokemon Snap. Taking a photo of Pokemon Snap. What a surreal experience. Playing Pokemon Snap, I played that on stream a couple weeks before the new one came out, and it was such a good time. Blast Core. I remember renting this game and feeling kind of underwhelmed that there's not a whole lot to do in it. I think I would appreciate it more now looking back at it. From what I remember of the game, now it seems to me like some good mindless fun. Mario Party 3. Pokemon Puzzle League. Mischief Makers. I need to give this game another shot. I've only played it once or twice, and I remember not really liking it very much, but since then I've heard so many good things about it that makes me feel like I need to go back to this and reassess it. I don't know what this discolored part up here at the top is. I think it's some kind of tape or something stuck to it, but it's like, it's really on there. Oh, you know what? I think someone wrote or carved their name into it, and then they painted over it when they got rid of the game. I think it's some kind of paint. So weird. It's another fun game. Yeah, I was just saying I've heard so many good things about it, and the one or two times I put it on, I couldn't get into it. But it's been a good decade or more since I've given it a try, so I really think I need to go back and give it another fair shot. Turok Rage Wars. I didn't own this game. I rented it. And so here's the thing about that. As I rented this game, and this game is... I don't even remember if it even has any single player in it. It's a multiplayer focus game, at least. And I didn't have anyone to play it with. So it wasn't a whole lot of fun. Earthworm Jim 3D. I don't know if I'm ever going to get to this game. I've got to beat Earthworm Jim, and then I've got Earthworm Jim 2, and then I'll finally get to this game. Man, I got Earthworm Jim 1 still standing in my way. That game has absolutely pummeled me into dust. It's so hard. This game is interesting. I remember renting it, so as I remember the game, I think it has 4 or 5 worlds, and I believe I played completely through the first world of the game when I rented it as a kid, and I feel like I liked it. It's very, as I remember, it's very like straightforward and obviously like a parody game. Like I feel like I remember the first world of the game is like very heavily parodies like spy movies. I'm really mixed on the Earthworm Jim brand of humor. A lot of it doesn't really land with me. It makes fun of a lot of stuff. That's the thing I remember most about it. Oh, and I believe I remember I like the excuse for the collectibles. So in the game, if I remember right, you collect marbles or like your pickup, like like the equivalent of like Mario's coins or Banjo Kazooie's music notes. But you collect marbles because in the game Jim has gone crazy and so he's lost his marbles. I like I like that excuse for the collectibles. Killer Instinct Gold. Namco Museum 64. All of these arcade collection games, I don't know. I always want to like them, but I never really feel like I do. Um, it's just usually they don't translate very well for me. They really feel off playing them on a console. Um, like control wise, most of the time, it just feels weird to me. And the companies who make these games are always so stingy with how many games they put in the collection. There's like they have this huge catalog of arcade games and like I don't understand. If they're going to make a compilation like this, these games are tiny. You could fit so many in here. And then they only just put in like, 4 or maybe 5 games into most of these collections. I mean, I get it because they don't want to undervalue their games, but I mean, at some point you have to realize that these games are so old and your audience who cares about them is so narrow that you're not going to have a lot of opportunity to sequelize these collections and double dip. So why not just go all out and make a really good one? There were a lot of collection games on the DS too. Never understood why. Extreme G2. Puyo Puyo Sun 64. Japanese. It's another one that's got like some kind of sticker scuzz or something on it. I need to clean it off. I never have. Maybe if I get everything inventoried, then horror of horrors, I'll do another stream where I'm just sitting down and I'm into cleaning all these games. Getting all this gunk off of them. Puyo Puyo is a good time. I have Puyo Puyo on Switch. Yeah, I like it's like oh, what would you compare it to? It's like one of those like puzzle games like Tetris Attack or Bust a Move. I know it's not exactly like either one of those, but it's one of those style games, right? I think I'd have a lot of fun with it. I don't think I've sat down to play this particular one though. Reminds me of Dr. Mario. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would lump that in as the same sort of type of game. I really like Dr. Mario, speaking of that. Bomberman 64, the second attack. I know I have the other two Bomberman games on Nintendo 64. We'll see them eventually. This one here, the Bomberman's a crazy rare game. Oh yeah, I looked it up on price charting. It looks like people want a couple $100 for it. I don't know how accurate this pricecharting.com is. I don't even remember. It was recommended to me by someone at some point, but I don't even remember who told me to use it. But it's generally what I go by because I don't really have much other reference for what people are asking for games. I usually see it for $240 and up. And that's almost exactly what it says on price charting here. It says the loose going rate is $244.04. I don't remember what I got it for. I think I got it for around $15 when I picked it up. If I'm remembering right, it was so long ago. I think I got it at a flea market. I bought two of the Bomberman games on Nintendo 64 at the same time at a flea market, if not all three of them. I don't always have a very good grasp on which of my games are like rare and valuable. I mean, I have a general sense of it, but a lot of the ones like that can catch me off guard randomly. Because most of the games, like I don't have games in my collection typically because they're valuable. Like I don't collect. I don't really care to have games because they're rare and expensive. Like, that's nice, but it doesn't motivate me to look for particular games or pick up copies of them. I have games in my collection because I, at least at some point, wanted to play them. And, and for almost all of them, still do. I haven't played the vast majority of the games that are in my collection, but almost every single game I've bought is because I saw it and was, oh, I want to play that. There are exceptions on the other extreme of that though, where there are games in my collection that I bought just because they were cheap. But I have unloaded a lot in that category over the years. I usually buy my games based on wanting to play them. I just can't justify paying a huge amount of money for one single game. Yeah. No, and I agree with you there. Like even if it was a game that I wanted to, all right, so like here's a good example. Like um I'd like to play I'd love to play Earthbound on the Super Nintendo. Um I don't have a copy of Earthbound on the Super Nintendo. I'd love to play it, and I'd love to play it on original hardware. There's absolutely no chance of me spending hundreds of dollars for that game, even though I want to play it. I guess just I think what I guess is what I'm getting at though is like games like that, like Bomberman 64. I didn't like come across this and be like, oh, that's a rare and expensive game. I better buy it. Like I came across it. It was a game I wanted to play. It was at a reasonable price, and I bought it. And now, it's become a very rare and expensive game. So like the games that are rare and expensive in my collection, they didn't enter it because they were rare and expensive. It's just what I was trying to get at. And games that are now rare and expensive are not likely to make it into my collection. As much as I would want to play some of them, there's just not a there's not really a chance of me shelling out those collector type prices. So if I ever get around to playing and streaming Earthbound, it's going to be a virtual console game. Charlie Blast's territory. BRB again. All right. No worries. Wave Race 64. Win back. On Wave Race. I've never really played Wave Race that much. I had a buddy who really liked it at one time, though. But unfortunately, we never got a chance to actually sit down and play it together. It's kind of a shame. Winback I've never played before either. I've heard people say that it's kind of a hidden gem, but we can't really speak to the truth of that or not. Rampage 2 Universal Tour. I didn't own either of the Rampage games. I got them both. The other ones around here somewhere. I didn't own them when I was a kid. My cousin had one of them, and I played it with him a little bit. It's not really much variety. It's kind of like Blast Corps, where I think about this game as like being kind of one note, so I don't know how much I could get into it. I guess I need to sit down though and give it its fair shake someday. We are getting near the end of the Nintendo 64 collection. Like, we're finally at a point where I can see the end of it. We're at I don't know, maybe 20 games out. There's one or two games that I don't see in the box that are scattered into another box somewhere that I don't know where they are, but so far as what's immediately in front of me, it looks like about 20 or so more games. Conker's Bad Fur Day. I haven't played Conker's Bad Fur Day. I think I'd really enjoy it. I've had people tell me that they want me to stream it, but I don't think that's ever going to happen on my channel. I try very hard to keep things family friendly. So far as the content that you see and hear, you know, I let chat be a little wilder than myself. But I don't think I would be comfortable with the content of this game. This is a game. This is a game that I did get after it started to become rare and expensive, though. Um, I think I paid. I think I paid around $50 for it at a time where I was seeing it mostly for 80. I don't know what it goes. I don't know what it goes for nowadays. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Ready to Rumble Boxing. We've already seen round 2. Here's the first one. Hercules, the Legendary Journeys. I believe this is the Hercules was a companion to Xena, right? I think this is a companion with the other game. Not really sure. I haven't played this one. This copy's got, again, it's got like all kinds of, like, must have been a rental copy. It's got some kind of anti-theft strip still taped to it. And they really put some like crazy industrial level tape on there too. It was also I'm back. Welcome back. I think you missed Winback, Rampage 2, Rainbow 6, and Conker's Bad Fur Day. I think that's all I made it through while you were gone. Really awesome collection so far. I've got some cool stuff. There's a Rampage World Tour. Chameleon Twist 2. Iggy's Wrecking Balls. This game and Rocket Robot on Wheels. These two games, I haven't played either of them yet. They're confused in my mind. I bought one of them on someone's recommendation, and I don't remember which one he recommended to me. But it's a friend of mine, and I've been wanting to play it and get back to him, but I don't remember which one it was he told me to play, and I never remember to ask him. Oh no, that was a really bad picture. That's unacceptable. And by really bad, I mean it was just slightly too high in the frame, but it was enough to bother me. Hexen. Hexen is a fun game. Played it on the PC back in the day. Is Hexen a first-person shooter? Because actually haven't played it. I get confused about. I think I confused that game, and I think there's another game called Forsaken, which I think is a flying game or a driving game, vehicle-based. I don't know. I confused Hexen and Forsaken, I think. Here's the first Quake. We've already come across Quake 2. Now here's the first one. With another some kind of ink splotch on the cartridge. We're up to 86 games, I think, now. There are 88 items, but one of them is a Game Shark and one of them is a Super 64. So that takes down to 86. And actually, two of them are foreign region duplicates, so 84 unique games. And there's still a couple handfuls left. There's a Duke Nukem 64. I remember renting this game. This one, the label has had a hard life. I'm not really super precious about the condition of my games. I mean, you know, I try to take good care of my games, or reasonably good care of them. I'll buy a game with a bad label on it, or a discolored cartridge or something like that, though, because I don't really care, as long as it plays. Because, you know, the reverse, if it looks perfect but it doesn't play, it's absolutely worthless. But, you know, if it plays and it looks bad, so be it. In fact, if there are two copies next to each other, I'll buy a copy if it's discounted for a bad label. I'll be like, sure, I'll save that money. Give me the bad one. I have a pretty similar cart for my Duke Nukem. I think this is the first game. This is the first game I remember playing where I played a 3D game and noticed the trick of like using a sprite in a 3D environment, because all the enemies are just two-dimensional sprites in this game, and it had never stuck out to me before that they did that trick in early 3D games. Yeah, I know that they do that with the coins in Mario 64, and they do it with a lot of objects in Mario Kart 64, like the snowmen. And so, I definitely played games where that trick had been used before, but I never noticed it until this game. I love games that do that. It saves on a lot of resources. It gives them their own sort of unique look, too, now. Because now it's something that I've developed nostalgia for, I guess. The Duke Nukem series. I didn't play Duke Nukem 64 as much as I played Duke Nukem 0 Hour. Like, if I think about, like, the 3D Duke Nukem game that I played the most, it's probably 0 Hour. But even then, I didn't play the 3D Duke Nukems nearly as much as I did the old ones on DOS. I don't remember them so well because I was really young when I played them. But I remember that sometimes I would have to like if both my parents were working or something like that, sometimes I would have to go in to work with my dad and sit in his office while he worked, and he had a computer set up in there that had the old Duke Nukem games on them, and I would play those while I was while he was keeping an eye on me at work. And I remember being so amused by Duke Nukem's obsession with Oprah. Space Station Silicon Valley. This is another game that I never got a hold of as a kid, but I remember reading previews for it in magazines and thinking it looked like a world of fun. But it wasn't until much, much later that I finally picked this copy up. And haven't really given it a go, like so many of them. Bomberman Hero. Oh, and right next to it is Bomberman 64. And look at the condition of this cartridge. So, like, Bomberman 64, the second attack, like, that cartridge is in pretty good shape. And then this one's like, it's a little rough and wrinkly. But this one looks absolutely dreadful. I remember the commercials for Bomberman 64 when I was a kid. They did a commercial that was kind of like, I think it was actually the classic Spider-Man theme song. And the Spider-Man, but they rewrote the lyrics to be about Bomberman. And I remember that commercial that really worked on me because I saw that and that song stuck in my head, and I really wanted to play this game. And I rented it a couple times, and I remember thinking it was all right, but I don't really have clear memories of it now at this point. Doom 64. Just absolutely, just completely covered in stickers and writing. I wish the price sticker hadn't been destroyed. It would have been interesting to see. That's probably not even the price sticker from when I bought it, but I still wish it was intact so I could see what it said. The world is not enough. Hello, Vansky. Hey, thanks for dropping by. Doing another collection stream. I'm getting really close to having all of my Nintendo 64 games logged. It's been quite a time. Going slow, doing things at my own pace like I normally would. And like I said at the top of the stream, I'm kind of sick at the moment. I'm a bit under the weather, so I'm even slower than usual. So please excuse me on that count. Organizing takes time. You bet it does. And especially because so far what I've done is made more of a mess than what I started with. have to get messier before I can get neater. Hope you feel better. I'm kind of stuffy today. Thank you. And the same to you. I hope that you get over your stuffiness, my friend. If I stream, I may or may not use a mic. Fortunately, I don't think I sound that far off. My nose has been a little plugged, but I haven't been coughing that bad. I'm just kind of weak. I'm leaning on the table a whole lot. Though to be fair, I'd probably be doing that anyway because my mic stand is really, really short. Oh yeah, another fancy one. So we've got regular carts are gray, but then I've got games. I've got blue carts, black carts, yellow carts, red carts, and green carts. So there are a lot of special colored carts. Mission Impossible. This is a game. This is one I didn't own this game, but I rented it, and I really liked this game. Here it is, Goemon's Great Adventure. We've finally come to my copy of that one that we were talking about before. Mega Man 64. So I haven't really figured out how to do it yet, but after I get my games inventoried, I'd really like to figure out a way to get my collection posted somewhere where stream viewers can take a look at what I have in case people want to request that I play particular games on stream, or ideally like set up a way that people can suggest and vote on games to be on the stream so that I can sort of pick out the things that our little community would be most interested in and kind of play to that. But I haven't really figured out a good way to do that. There might be some way to do it in the Discord. I just still haven't really figured out what all can be done on Discord. So it might be something to look into. But I get from time to time people asking me like what I plan to stream and if I plan to stream X or Y game, and so I think it would be good to have some sort of meaningful way for people to give suggestions and vote on things. I think Pally Plays has a thing she does for that. I should ask Pally about that then, because I want to kind of crib that idea. And you have Mega Man 64 on the PlayStation 1. I don't think I have the PS1 version of it. I think I've only got the Nintendo 64 version of it. I looked into getting Mega Man Legends 2 at one point. I was interested in adding it to my collection, but that's another one that's like prohibitively expensive. Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. This is one that I will stream eventually. I still have an alternate character to play through the first Nintendo 64 Castlevania as, and then there's a hard mode that unlocks. I might want to beat the game on hard mode, so I think I've got maybe 3 more playthroughs of the first game left to stream before I get to this one. But I'm fine with that because I prefer the first one to this one. I haven't played this one all the way through, but I think I've played enough of it to feel fairly confident in that decision. I've told this story before, but I remember when I lived in Texas, there was a game store that I would visit pretty regularly, and I would sometimes ask the guy behind the counter about games I was interested in. And I asked him about this once, as it was before I had it. I asked him if he'd seen Castlevania Legacy of Darkness come through in recent memory, and he thought about it and told me no. And then he was ringing me up, and I was buying Final Fantasy 13 and Vampire Hunter D on the PlayStation 1. And the guy thought for a moment. He looked at me, and he looked at my games, and he said, "Man, you like some really not good games, don't you?" Oh, just the memory of it cracks me up so much. just right to my face. He just had to insult my taste in games because of the poor decisions I was making. I couldn't even be upset about it. It was just too funny. Extreme G. We've seen the second one. Now's the first one. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. So we finally made it through all of the Nintendo 64 games, at least all of them that I had in that box. We're at 100 items even, so we take off 4 for 2 duplicate games and 2 non-game items. So that takes us down. I got 96, but there are some games I haven't put in Banjo-Kazooie. Magical Tetris Challenge, and A Bug's Life. I know I have these 3 games, so that'd take us back up to 99. I don't know where my copies of those are. I have my backup copy of Banjo-Kazooie. I don't know where my primary copy is. So I'm really close to being done, except I've got just a couple games scattered somewhere outside of the box they're supposed to be in. But I think I can get most of these cleared off my table now at least. And maybe get started on another console here in a moment. Oh no, my friends, get ready. I thought I was at the end of my Nintendo 64 collection. There's another box over there. I found all of these. And wait, there's more. So I think this is the rest of my Nintendo 64 games. Although I still don't see Banjo-Kazooie anywhere. I know I have another copy of Banjo-Kazooie. I played it on stream. I know it exists somewhere. Okay, here it is. My other copy of Banjo-Kazooie. I found it. So, we will not be starting another console yet because I still have a lot of Nintendo 64 games left. So these are separated out. These will be things like wrestling games, fighting games, children's games. These will be games that I'm less enthusiastic about personally. There might be some interesting, memories for others out there, but for the most part, I think these are separated out because these are the games that are not so much my thing. And that's why they don't have the labels printed on them yet. I prioritized labeling the games that I was more likely to play, so I've got to go through and label these too. Probably not going to do that right now though, because, well, for one, I don't even know if I have enough label maker tape. But we are going to go through them and inventory them. I got Banjo-Kazooie when it was new. My second copy of it I picked up in a thrift shop. I found it for like $3. I found just randomly in a thrift shop that I visited a lot, but that never had games. Just randomly on the shelf, mixed in with like the kids' toys and action figures and stuff. They had a copy of Banjo-Kazooie thrown on the toy shelf too, and a Game Boy Advance game. I don't remember what game though. I also found a lot more Sega Genesis games where I found these Nintendo 64 games. So what I was saying before about overestimating my collection, No, I don't think I. think I was wrong when I amended the number lower. I think I was right. I think I was closer to right on my first guess of about 50 or 60 games. So as carefully as we can, we're going to put these back in the IKEA box, the ones that have been inventoried. Okay, so back to it. WCW NWO Revenge. Fighter's Destiny. WCW versus NWO World Tour. So I was never huge into the whole professional wrestling thing, but it was really big among my classmates when I was in school, around 5th grade or so. And one of my classmates, he had a birthday party and we were all sleeping over at his house, and he had gotten a Nintendo 64 and this game for his birthday, and we stayed up all night playing it. And I remember it was a great time. I had a lot of fun with it. I think it was this one or another one in the series, but I think it was this one. But I remember one of my classmates who was watching us play. At some point, he said, "You know what? This is just like real wrestling, but it's so much better because this is real." And that has always stuck with me. It's such a strange thing for him to have said in reference to the game. I'm not even sure what this game is. I think it's World Driver Championship. The label's been treated very poorly. And in fact, on the back label is gone completely. Like, there's supposed to be a label on the back. Where'd it go? I think this game wins the award for most stickered on. It's got all these holographic stickers, barcodes from Hollywood Video. They just went bananas with the stickers on this thing. This is Wayne Gretzky's '98 3D hockey. I've heard this is actually a good game. I don't know, I haven't played it yet, but someone who I trust was telling me that this game is a lot of fun. Scooby-Doo classic creep capers. Got it upside down. I like that they gave it a special black cartridge, like a real horror game. WF Attitude. Maybe that's WWF. Some kind of wrestling mayhem. Backstage assault. Body harvest. Armorines. Twisted Edge Extreme Snowboarding. Automobili Lamborghini. Rugrats Scavenger Hunt. I'd have streamed this game. I'd be the only person in the category that night, I would bet. WWF No Mercy. WWF Warzone. I had to tell you, if you like Nintendo 64 wrestling games, my collection is the collection for you. I think I might have every one released. WrestleMania 2000. Mortal Kombat 4. Bio Freaks. NASCAR 99. Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Forsaken 64. .1080 snowboarding. ECW Hardcore Revolution. Dark Rift. I really don't have much to say about these later games because these sort of wrestling, racing, sports type games have never really been my thing. Most of them have entered my collection through me just finding them cheap or getting them in bulk with other things. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Ridge Racer 64. Deadly Arts. San Francisco Rush Extreme Racing. Alright, and the last one of this surprise stack, San Francisco Rush 2. Actually, I don't know. This one doesn't say San Francisco. Maybe it's just Rush 2. Okay, so with that, with all of those extra ones there, that brings us up to 128 unique games. And still, I haven't come across a Bug's Life or Magical Tetris challenge. And I'm pretty sure I still have them somewhere. Didn't come across Japanese Goemon either. But again, I might only just have the manual. I'm not entirely sure. But these two games, I know I have because I played them. But who knows? Got a couple other things here. Some a transfer pack. I got 3 rumble packs. I got some memory cards. I should photograph those and the console. I guess I need to get out all my controllers too, but if I want to be really thorough, but I think I'll save the accessories for another time. Okay, my friends. Well, we've been at it for a really good while, and we've gotten a lot done. I think I'm gonna wrap it up here, though. Thank you so much for viewing and for chatting with me. It's been really nice to have some other people keeping me company while I do this, because again, like, it's fun to look at these things and see them again and actually handle them for a change rather than just keeping them in boxes. But it's also just kind of slow, tedious kind of work, and so the company is really appreciated. Hey, Zinshan, thank you. See you later, Frownie. See you later, Zinshan. So thank you so much. This was fun, but there's going to be lots more of it to come. So if you like this sort of thing, I'm going to be doing it, every couple days. Typically in the afternoon times, afternoon or evening like this. I'm not sure which days. Just whenever I've got time for it. Probably not again this week, but sometime next week. I will be back on tonight for anyone interested for my regular stream. We're going to do the Castlevania adventure at around 11 p.m. My time tonight. That's Central Time. And depending on how quickly I make it through that, then we may put on something else. Maybe Sonic 2. Probably going to save Sonic 2 for Monday, though. Hi and bye, Frownie. Hello, Lucent Jelly. Sorry you only got to catch me here at the very tail end, but I'm completely out of stamina. As I said a couple times, I'm a little bit under the weather right now, so I need to wrap things up. I'm going to rest, going to eat, and hopefully come back energized for tonight's stream, and we'll have some more fun. If you want to stay on the channel, though, for another moment, I will point us in the direction of a raid. It looks like Four Sides has started streaming. He was kind enough to drop in and chat with us for a while. So why don't we pop over and raid his channel? He's doing Final Fantasy VII. It's his first playthrough. It'd be fun to catch a little bit of that. And here we go. So one last time, thank you very much for being here, hanging out with me. I hope you'll catch me again. But until you do, I'm going to take off for now, and I'll see you on the other side of this raid.